Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. If you haven't done so, I'd like to remind you to remember to click the like and subscribe buttons because I need all the support I can get from you. Thank you very much. In today's video, we are going to do a review of this Seiko 5 GMT. This is a really new model. It was launched late last year. So sometime in October, I think, they had 3 new colorways launched. I first did a review on the Seiko 5 GMT about 2 years back. That time I reviewed the orange dial version, and now we've got a new colorway. So this is the white dial or the silvery white dial version. Reference number for the watch is SBSC017. Now this is the JDM model, so for the international reference it is SSK033. I think there are no differences in terms of build quality and so street price for this watch is about $520. We're talking about Singapore dollars. You can definitely get this one from our boutique, and this is where the watch was loaning from. Let me just take some time to thank my good friend Eric at our boutique for so kindly and generously loaning me all these watches for my reviews. So as mentioned earlier, they had 3 new colorways launched late last year. There was this Starbucks version with the green and black theme, and we've got this one which has a silvery white dial. Normally people will say, okay, this is the white dial version, but upon inspection you will realize that this is indeed a silvery white dial. And to add on to this look, this GMT look, they've got a bi-colored bezel. We've got blue and black, so sort of reminds me of the Batman, Batgirl, whatever color scheme you want to call it. So, you know, all the Rolex fans out there, they have all these funky nicknames, Batman, Batboy, or Starbucks, or Ceramide. So apart from the new colorway, the new dial and bezel combination in terms of colors, there is really nothing new about the SBSC017. It has the same case, 42.5mm case size, which is pretty standard for all the Seiko 5 GMT watches. The thickness here is just under 14mm. Not an overly thick watch because of the clever design here. We've got a nice curve to the mid case, and it sort of negates the protrusion of the case back, so wearing it on the wrist, it doesn't feel like it's overly top heavy. And we've also got a 22mm lug width, and this is sort of a strap monster. You can definitely put this one on a nice rubber strap. They've even got fitted rubber straps on these things these days, so lots of aftermarket straps to go for. Depends on what look you're looking at. I'm not a big fan of this 5-link with PCL here, PCL being polished center link. L to L here is very short, 45.8mm, so in terms of wearability, this is going to be very helpful. It doesn't look overly big with lug overhangs and all that. Bezel size here is about 41mm, so it is slightly on the bigger side of things, but not overly big or cartoon big. And of course, we've got the 4R34 movement. New movement developed by Seiko in the past few years, and since then many micro brands have started to use this movement as well. So the 4R34, it is actually the 4R35 with the GMT hand added. This is GMT, and I think the GMT hand is slave to the hour hand here, so it's not true GMT. We've also got a 24-hour bezel which has no clicking. I guess this is intended because you are supposed to have a bi-directional bezel, so no clicking, and the action here feels quite good, I must admit. In terms of the overall build quality of this watch, I think one really needs to set their expectations to a lower level, because this is, after all, an entry level model in the Seiko lineup. It is a basic watch, Sports 5 or 5KX series, the one with the new logo launched sometime in 2020 if I'm not wrong. So there is still no sapphire crystal on the watch, there is still no solid end links, and we still have this mill clasp here that looks like a generic part from, I don't know, 2005. At this point, I'm thinking Seiko is definitely relying on loyalty and on nostalgia. For comparison, many different AliExpress brands out there, we're talking about St. Martin, has similar watches, same movement for around $350, and those watches, they have sapphire crystals, they have solid end links, they have on the fly adjustable clasp or whatever. Alright, so in terms of value for money, there is really no contest. And recently, I think the brand Watch Dives, they have similar watches for around 180 Singapore dollars. Alright, so I don't know which segment or which crowd Seiko is aiming for with this model at this price point. And of course, we're comparing in terms of build quality and value for money. So we're not talking about design and who came first, who designed this, who copied that. So in terms of build quality, finishing, and value for money, the Seiko 5 series at this price point, $500, I'm not too sure if they're getting enough buyers for this kind of watches. But that's not to say that this watch is a disaster. In terms of build quality, I think it's very decent. Just that for this price point, there are many other better choices out there. And here's how the watch looks on my 17 cm wrist, 6 3/4. It's minimal to no lug gap or lug protrusion. And even though this is almost 14 mm thick, it doesn't feel or look top heavy. And now let's check out the lume on the Seiko 5 GMT. As expected, Seiko lume never fails to impress. We've got a really nice thick application on the markers and handset, and I particularly like the triangle lume on the GMT head. So overall, a very safe, a very familiar color scheme and dial design for the traditional watch fans out there. We've got this look that people are very familiar with. We've got this Batman or GMT Explorer kind of look that many watch fans can relate to. But for me personally, I think overall the design language for the 5KX or the GMT, Seiko 5 GMTs, I think these things look like they belong to a decade before. Definitely not my cup of tea with the filing bracelet and polished center links. So this is Andy in Singapore signing off with George and Rolly Polly. We'll see you next week for more watch review videos. Until then, bye bye.